What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Devy Royale. I am your host, as always, Kevin Coleman at @theboys_22. And today we are back with a little bit of a scouting film study that we're going to do. And these aren't long. What we like to do is just kind of go through some guys and kind of highlight them. And then we're going to talk about, we're going to show some film. We're going to kind of break that down for everybody. Talk about maybe where he's at in the class, right? So when we're talking about Devy rankings and where we're looking at in terms of this. And today's JJ McCarthy. And I'm a big fan of JJ, obviously. I am the resident Michigan fan on the show, and so I've been really high on JJ for a long time. I like JJ, and obviously when we talk about where he should be going in the draft class, I mean that's part of this process, right? As far as Devy goes, that's what we're looking for, and I think people have been down on JJ for I don't know whatever reason, but the reason why we're going to talk about him is because he's going to be the starting quarterback now. So 6'3", 218 against Hawaii was his showcase, right, against Cade McNamara, who would start. And then against Hawaii, he was 11 for 12, 229 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was one of the most efficient quarterbacks. Now, it was against Hawaii, and we'll talk about that. I mean, they're not the greatest team in the world. I mean, Vanderbilt beat them. But I think what elevates his game is the things we're going to see on tape. And I think when we talk about JJ, we got to ask, hey, where's that ceiling at? And when we look at the 24 class, where is that ceiling for the 24 class? So it came in with like Sam Heward, some of these guys, Tyler Bunchner, guys that were very, very highly sought after. And then now what is it, right? And so we have Quinn. We know we have Quinn. Quinn looked good. Obviously, he hurt his shoulder. Caleb is probably obviously the guy in this class. And then you have, Jackson Dart. Maybe not he's starting at Ole Miss. And you have Kyle McCord. They're struggling to start Ohio State. Drake May, he's had a hell of a year. We're going to do a Drake May film study here in the next one. So we're looking at this class, and JJ has a chance to jump into that top 3, I think. And so I think that's where our perspective should be right now. We're looking at him. And so if we just watch the tape, first of all, he has the arm strength. The one thing that I've always liked about JJ is he has that. Now, you're going to notice it here too. He gets it to his guy. He knows where he's at. Roman Wilson is a guy that I want also there. Everybody else out there. I highlighted him. I know Jeff Bell talked about him as well. I don't like to give Jeff any shout outs, but he did. Roman Wilson is a kid who I think can play in the slot in the NFL. And Roman he's had a pretty solid year so far. They haven't played anybody, but I think his ability to separate, but also play in a slot and his speed is something that teams are going to covet. And for the first time ever, with Cornelius Johnson, Ronnie Bell, Roman Wilson, AJ Henning, even Darius Clemens, Hendro Anthony, we actually have some receivers on this team that can be elevated now because they actually have a quarterback and JJ started. So I wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Now, when we look at JJ, what he does well. So I mean, we know he's dual threat ability there. When he was coming out, I comped him a little bit to Matthew Stafford. In terms of arm strength, like especially when Matthew Stafford was in college. I think he has that. And I think that he has that ability that he can put pressure on the defenses vertically. So that's something you see here with Roman Wilson, one of the first throws that he had, especially in this game. Like, hey, he's going to put pressure on you. Cade was never going to do that for Michigan. So now we have JJ here. Now he's going to go through bumps because he's a young kid, but he has an ability to get it out in space. And I think the one thing that's going to elevate his game is that he has the accuracy. I mean, and even from the beginning, they've always talked about his accuracy as being that one skill that you have. So when you think of like his accuracy and his ability to get it to his receivers in space and let them work, I think that's going to really elevate this offense. Also, both running backs on Michigan, Corum and Donovan Edwards, and more Edwards because of his ability to catch passes, but Corum can do it. Everybody on this team can catch passes from JJ. So when we're looking at his upside from a Devy and C2C perspective, that's where we like to see it from. And I think that is what's going to elevate him a little bit. He has good velocity. I think he has very, very good vertical arm. He can get it out there for them. I actually think he's really good in pressure situations. We didn't see that a ton against Hawaii, but he does have the ability to kind of step up in that pressure and then definitely make throws in a crowded pocket. But then he also has that athleticism to get out of it. And you'll notice it here. I thought they did a very good job in this game is getting them out on the run. So when I rewatched this game a couple of times as I was doing this, I thought, if they can do that going forward, I think that JJ is going to be very good, especially with play action. We see it all the time. This is why Tua is going to do very good in McDaniel's offense in the Dolphins. This is why JJ can be very good in this offense too for Michigan. They have a high volume rushing attack. They have a very good rushing attack. That's going to alleviate some pressure off of JJ. Then you have this, and he has his rushing upside. And when we're taking fantasy, like we just talked about, so if you didn't look, I did a Bryce Young channel, Bryce Young breakdown too. These guys, remember, like I think one mistake that Devy players make is they see a big arm like Jerkovich or Carson Strong or these guys, and they look at it from, their old way of thinking. Remember, it's rushing that matters. So when we're thinking of the rushing quarterbacks, those Konami code quarterbacks, that's what's going to translate to fantasy points. That's why we're here. I'm here to help you win fantasy leagues. Like, I'm not here to help, like, this guy's going to go in the first round and then tout it on Twitter and I'm done. Like, you want guys that's going to do this. And I think the thing that JJ has is he has both. He has strengths. He has a passer and he has strengths as a rusher. So if he has strengths as a rusher, that's going to elevate him to me in his ranking. We know Ewers isn't going to run. Now he's going to be a good passer. We know Caleb is definitely both. So when we think of Caleb, we know Caleb's ahead of that. Then you have Jackson Dart, Kyle McCord, Drake May is not going to be that. JJ kind of offers the second best upside from an athleticism and a rushing perspective, from that Konami perspective there. And you'll see it here. I think he's definitely going to have those mistakes. I don't know if misthrow here. I don't know necessarily if we would call this a misthrow for him. Kind of a drop. You'll see it here. Now, I think he needs to do this better. So you'll see on this, and whether this was the read or not. So when you're watching this, you can tell when you see this, he has a tendency to stare down his receivers. I know that's where he wanted to go, but you'll notice it. He was looking at that the whole time. And that if that linebacker is any better, he'd get him. So we're talking about Big Ten defenses, right? I think that's the concern with JJ. Hawaii's not going to get that ball, but other teams will, and that's a pick six. So watch that. He had a few moments where he would definitely, he kind of looks down his receiver. That's just going to come with experience. He hasn't really had that. Most of the times he's been in the games, even last year, it was mostly on run, RPO kind of areas. So we're going to need to see him be, I think that's one area of weakness, or one area of just he's got to improve in, is his ability to kind of read defenses, check down, go through his progression of reads and get his eyes off the, make sure his eyes are used to create that separation for his receivers. Don't stare down guys. So I think those are the big ones. So when you're thinking of like, where are they going? I think that's the key for JJ from moving forward in terms of like some negatives that I saw. Again, though, steps up in the pocket, knows where his receivers are. His receivers has the ability to create actual separation now, which is going to change things for Michigan quarterbacks, because we haven't had that in quite some time, to be completely honest. And the system predicates pretty well. So again, play action, steps up into the pocket. One of his best throws of the night. I mean, this is the strengths of JJ. This is the things that excite you as a Devy manager, but also as a Michigan fan like I am. Like, his ability to kind of use that. You'll see a lot of those play actions. He can get the ball out quick. He has a great release, gets it quick to him. Again, long throw to the corner. And this is one of my favorite throws out of it. Then there's Donovan Edwards, and we know Donovan Edwards has that skill as a pass catching back, getting to the outside. So he can step up and he gets it to the numbers. And I think that's the key for me when I watch him play. I love that about him. And then he has that ability, extend plays, gets it to the numbers, and that's a hell of a throw. And when we're talking about like his ability to extend plays, that's what we're looking for, right? So when we're going through, he gets to the numbers there, like we just saw. And you'll see it here. Pocket's kind of breaking down. He feels the pressure, able to step up, gets his feet around, and he knows how to get it around, and then hits it right on the numbers, right where it needs to be. Like, those are the throws. That's an NFL throw. To me, when you're watching him, you're like, okay, where's that NFL throw at? That's where the NFL throw at. And then we'll see it here. I wanted to definitely highlight, a few of these throws as we go through. Those are the things that JJ does well when I was watching the tape that I like. So remember, this is the negative. Hey, make sure that you get your eyes off, make sure you're reading those defenders. I think that's going to be the thing that we watch going forward. So I just want to highlight this. Watch that going forward. Okay, how does he work through his progressions? Where is that skill going to be? Because I think he's going to be efficient, but we got to make sure he works through those progressions, and he definitely doesn't make those interceptions, those throws, because he's had a couple, and he had big turnover last year against Michigan State. So we've seen it. We've definitely seen it. I want to maybe fast forward a little bit so we get here. Now, again, okay, receivers able to separation. I think he steps up well. I think one other thing I wanted to highlight too is, as a passer, he doesn't just take off and run. So when he sees that open space, we're not seeing that from JJ. Younger quarterbacks will do that. But again, so this is a big threat I want to show. Again, he knows where he's at, sees it does, good fake, steps up, has an arm strength on the numbers. That is an NFL throw as well. So I think the thing that I wanted to highlight for JJ is that now we're going to see that potential. That 24 class is starting to crown into shape. Like, when we think of the 24 class, we got 3 or 4 quarterbacks in this class that could be something when we're talking about it. This could be the quarterback class that we've been waiting for in terms of fantasy. Where is that going to be? And I think JJ could be a part of that. Then you got Shipley, Allen, Edwards, Henderson, Raheem Sanders, Neal, like legitimate prospects. So when we're thinking of like their wide receivers, you're going to have Xavier Worthy, Marvin Harrison Jr., Even, hey, maybe Troy Franklin can figure his stuff out, right? So we're looking at guys in that class that could be exceptionally well. And then you're looking at Brock Bowers. So overall, when you're looking at the 24 class, JJ is going to be a big part of that. And then we're pushing on that talent. So I just wanted to say, JJ is a player to watch. I think he has a ton of potential, and I think he's getting undervalued in Devy leagues, especially with where he was going in drafts preseason because of some of the talk about Cade going to be out. Cade's not going to do that. He has the best ceiling and upside here. So keep an eye on JJ. Watch him. Be sure to see, hey, maybe he's going to increase that value, and then you can move him, right? We're always talking about value pieces and moving. Just because I like JJ doesn't mean you can't use that value, that perceived value. He's going to play. They have a very down schedule. They could be undefeated going into the Ohio State game. I'm knocking on wood, so I don't screw my own team there. But they could be undefeated. So if they're undefeated now, all right, now his value is just going to go up. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I do want to shout out that we have a Prize Picks sponsorship now. So if you don't know what Prize Picks is, it allows for all kinds of different betting on all different sports. Obviously, we're going to do college football sports and NFL. But if you use our promo code, the Devy Royale. So right now, if you use our promo code, the Devy Royale, they will match any new subscriber to their Prize Picks, and I'm gonna play the video up to $100. So they're gonna price match you up to $100. So please check that out, play the video, and enter and make some money. And we're gonna be definitely going on the Prize Picks on a Patreon. I throw out my my best picks, my best prop bets and best bets, and I was 5-1 or 4-1 last week. So please join the Patreon and get into the Discord, and we'll talk from there. So appreciate you guys. You can find all of that below, the Prize Pick information and the Patreon. And we appreciate it. See you guys later.